What's going on, guys? Do you want to know how to pack a standard box with leopard geckos? Then stick around in this video because you're going to find out. Selling in the billions each year, Rainbow Mealworms is your one-stop shop for all your insect needs. Their quality feeders and A+ customer service keep me coming back to support the health and growth of all of our animals. Visit them today at rainbowmealworms.net to place your order. Okay, now here's the general supplies you'll need. These are my favorite kind of boxes to ship out. It's just your standard 777, which you can buy from Reptiles to You, Reptiles Express, Ship Your Reptiles. A lot of places sell these boxes. If you want to make your own box, you absolutely can do that, but take a note from what the reptile shipping companies do. Because for FedEx to ship a live animal, they have a couple requirements. Requirement number 1, the box must be white. Requirement number 2, the box must have bright red lettering on it that says live animal. I believe they'll also accept green lettering. So like Reptiles Express uses green lettering on the side, but those are the 2 requirements. And then of course, you'll have to buy your own styrofoam instead of getting them pre-cut from Reptiles Express or Reptiles to You, one of those shipping companies. Other than that, since it's summer, we're gonna use a Cryo Pack. Again, this has been sitting in the freezer, and I was told recently that when it's white, it's sitting at around 70 degrees. Now, this is a little cooler than 70 degrees right now because I just took it out the freezer, but it warms up to room temperature fairly quickly. You give it a few minutes, it will have the inside of that box sitting at about 70 degrees, perfect for the full trip of the animal. This, from our last video, you'll see comes in really handy, and a normal packing tape also comes in handy. And then of course, we got our geckos. Okay guys, now I just have to say this real quick. We got some harsh feedback on our last video. I think people are just trying to pick on us a little. There is no problem shipping geckos like this. There is so much space in here for each gecko to turn around and do what it needs to do. Another thing is, when geckos are shipping, you don't want them rattling around a lot to begin with. So essentially, if they're in there snugly like that, which is not too snug, I promise you, these guys can turn around and they're fine. But if they're in there snugly, they're going to bounce around less compared to if that divider was not there. They would be wobbling around more during shipping. So to all our critics, I could actually argue that it might be actually better to ship this way. But if you're not a critic, don't worry about it. I just had to mention that because a lot of people were saying that you can't or you shouldn't ship this way. Regardless, do what you want to do, but packing the box is going to be the same, and that's what I'm going to show you in this episode. So first, we're going to tape up the box. The box typically has a bottom, like all boxes do. You fold in the sides, and this is where this one's gonna come in handy because it would be difficult to use this, but using this by yourself is perfectly fine. Press hard, adhere hard, and then just kind of like twist and it tears off. Now, just to be safe, I always like to put a couple extra pieces of tape. So like I showed on my big video, 1 piece of tape there, 1 piece of tape here. It takes a little longer, but it's absolutely more secure. For a small box like this, I'll put 2 pieces of tape going crossway to create like a fishing net so that bar an act of God or something, this box will not fall apart. All right, so perfectly fine. Now we have our box. It is empty. When you buy this box from Reptiles to You or Ship Your Reptiles, it comes with these styrofoam inserts, so you don't have to buy them separately. The big styrofoam inserts will go on the top and the bottom, and the small styrofoam inserts will catty corner each other. So check that out. It fits perfectly snug up against the other one, and it's always going to leave a little extra space for the other one to fall in place. And see, there is a right way and a wrong way. This is not the right way. So you want to go like this, and it should be about the same thickness in this corner, and that's how you know it's facing the right way. And then you also know it's facing the right way because at the very end, it's very snug, no extra space or nothing. It's not wobbling around or nothing. Now, time for the geckos. So I always do a last check, make sure the geckos look good, no one's escaping, all the lids are tight, no one's got their tails pinched or anything. Even though I've already checked for that like 5,000 times, I always do a last pre-check kind of thing. So see this one, its tail is like kind of up into the thing here. Sometimes it looks like it's stuck, but I promise you it's really not. These are 2 regen animals. Watch, if I turn it like upside down a little, we'll get this one to move. And then that's how you can make sure that the tail is not stuck without like banging on the side of the glass and really bothering the gecko. Just kind of turn it around a little bit and then the gecko will move, or even turn it upside down and the gecko will move. And then you can see that its tail is not stuck. And okay, we're good to go here. Now, this is what it looks like in a 7x7x7 box. It can fit to the ceiling 3 of these 8-ounce containers. And so you'll push them all to one side, and that's where the Cryo Pack will slip right into place. Look at that, perfectly. So it's actually holding them tight, number 1, but it's also sitting right up against them to keep the temperature at 70 degrees right next to them. Of course, we still want to use our trusty newspaper to crumple it up and add in some extra padding and cushioning. So sometimes to fit in the corners, you might really need to crumple up the paper, cut it in half or something, or twist it tight. And then you want to shove it into each cubby to make sure that it's not gonna wobble at all. You don't want this to wobble, baby. Now this is actually perfect. You can see no wobble in there. All 3 tiers of geckos are stacked up against this Cryo Pack to keep them temperature controlled. This Cryo Pack's already feeling closer to room temperature than before. And lastly, we're just gonna lightly crumple up one last piece of newspaper, put it on the top, and it should be springy so that it absorbs any looseness between the containers and this last piece of styrofoam. So it goes down there, boom. Now a little handwritten note, thanks to the customer, best of luck, signed by me. And then of course a business card you could drop in there. All right, now we're gonna push this tight. It should offer a little pushback, which is good because that means it's keeping everything really tight in there. This is where this handle tape is gonna come in handy. One down the creased middle again, twist and tear off. One down that side, one down that side. And that's typically enough. I know on the bottom I did 3 going that way and then 2 going the other way. And if you want to just be absolutely sure, then yeah, just do the 3-2 combo. It's a much safer combo, you know? And one of the reasons I do that is sometimes a little flap of tape, you know, gets exposed and it might get caught on something. I'm just being super critical about it, but that's just the way I prefer to ship. I'd rather ship 100 times the safety requirements than not. I don't know, it's just the way I do it. Next is gonna be the label. All right, so I'm not gonna show you the person's information or anything, but the labels come in these full sheets of paper. So what I do, I fold the label like that, and then like that to expose all the details that need to be on the top of this box. So it winds up being a piece of paper that is this size, which is perfect for the size of this box. Then you want to grab a piece of tape and tape every inch of this shipping label to tape over it so that it can't get ripped and accidentally mis-shipped or shipped to a different location. No errors occur. Perfect. So the tape is solely for the protection of this scannable label right here. Because overnight, this package is going to be going through 2 or 3 or even 4 different stops, and it's going to get scanned at every single stop. Now, on the sides that are empty, see there's a side with live animal information on here. On the sides that are empty, you must put these 2 other pieces of information, which you also need to fold up or cut because they're too big. So I like to fold it up like that. Guys, I've tried this a few different ways. This is the easiest way to do it that I've found. Easiest way. Take a piece of tape that's wider than the piece of paper you're taping, stick it to the top. You see that? You see how it sticks to the top? Now that it's stuck to the top, I can just slide it down to the side and boom, goes on there. Now these side labels are not nearly as important as the top shipping label. So you don't need to cover every square inch of the side label. However, you don't want any paper sticking out because if it gets caught on an assembly belt or something, It could fall off the assembly belt. I don't know what goes on behind the scenes. I just want to make sure that there's the highest probability this package gets to its location safely. Same thing, folded onto the size of the box that it will fit on. And this is why I use this tape now for this, because it would be difficult to use this one. And boom, see that? I just stick it to the front. It allows me to, see that? Transition the slide. So from your position there, transition the slide down, boom, flatten. I usually do 3 for this side one. One on the top, one on the middle, and then one at the very bottom. Make sure it's completely flat. And sometimes you need to fold the tape over the bottom to make sure it's completely flat. But that's what it looks like. See, so it's held down perfectly fine. The other one is held down by 3 strips, perfectly fine. There's a little bit of exposure here in the middle, but not important. For this one, the top one, you want no exposure. It's completely covered by the tape to prevent any shipping errors. Now, last step. If there was only one gecko in there, which I'm gonna show in another video, I wouldn't even bother poking a hole. And even though there's 6 geckos in that box, I still don't think 1 or 2 holes is necessary. But the only reason I'm gonna do it is because animals breathe out carbon dioxide, and carbon dioxide builds up in there and winds up being harmful to other animals. Now, the levels of carbon dioxide that are going to build up or potentially build up in there are so minute that it shouldn't even matter. But 2 small little holes is not going to affect the temperature in there very much, and so I'm not worried about it. Now for this, I wait till the very end once everything is taped up, because you're going to need to poke a hole in it. And if you poke the holes from the start, before you tape your stuff on there, you might be covering over the holes. So this is a Phillips head screwdriver. It's about a 1/4 inch head size. And I'm just gonna pick 2 sides, any 2 sides, it doesn't really matter. Use my finger to offer a little stability, twist and go in. And then you might start to feel that you hit something. Once you do, you know you're way past the threshold. You spin it and pull out. And now there's fresh oxygen going in there. And same thing with the other side. I caddy corner it. So one side of the box, the other side of the box, for airflow to go through it. Boom. And you can see the hole is very small. It barely even looks like fresh oxygen could come in, but it finds its way in. Now, the biggest deal with holes is that you don't want hot or cold air going in there that is undesired by you as the shipper. So in the summertime, you don't want hot air going in there, because that's the opposite of what you're trying to do by keeping it cool in there. But again, those 2 small holes are not really gonna matter. Okay, and that's it, guys. We got our box here. I'm gonna wind up taking it to FedEx and then checking in with the customer tomorrow to make sure that everything arrived on time. You also wanna start your car and blast the air conditioning 15 to 20 minutes before you leave. So I hope you enjoyed this video. In the next shipping video I do, I'm gonna show you how to ship the animal from start to finish. Not everybody needs to know about how to make a label, a shipping label, and put in all the proper information and all that kind of stuff, the right questions to ask the customer. So that's why I make these shorter videos that are designed to show you different ways to temperature control leopard geckos during the summer, and then I'll also make videos for the winter as well. But since it's summer, I'm making videos for the summer. And then in the next video, like I said, I'll show you start to finish. Okay, so as soon as I get payment from the customer, what's the next step? That's what you're gonna see in the next video. Thank you guys, I'll see you then. Have a geeky gecko great day. Peace.